Now to UC Berkeley, scene of riots and violence when Milo Yiannopoulos was asked to speak there. Ann Coulter was also blocked, and this is the sort of scene that we saw back in February. Destruction of property, fires, rioting in the area. But Ben Shapiro is determined to have his say when he goes there, and they're happy to have him now that they've declared this, quote, free speech year. I wonder what happens next year, or what happened last year, for that matter, at the institution. But anyway, they are insisting that the college Republicans pay $15 grand for security when Ben Shapiro speaks there. And this comes days after the school's chancellor touted this new free speech initiative at Berkeley. Watch.
I believe that any attack on free speech, no matter how abhorrent the views are, they're expressed, is an attack on the right of free speech for us all.
Well, there you go. So now, a $15,000 man, Ben Shapiro, editor-in-chief of DailyWire.com. Ben, good evening. Good to see you. So what do you think about this fee? Is it fair? Are you going to pay it? And what are you going to get for it, I guess, is the biggest question.
I mean, Young Americans Foundation has already said that they're going to pay the fee. As far as it being fair, no. I mean, life isn't fair, I guess. They should be providing security. I'm a taxpayer in the state of California. I promise you I pay much more than that in taxes to the state of California every year. So I guess I get to pay for the security twice over. But here's sort of what I'm telling people who want to come. We have a 2,000-seat stadium or auditorium that is opening up. They haven't provided the link yet, but you can go over to yaf.org, and you can start to reserve your seat there. What I've been saying to people is don't show up ready to do battle with Antifa. We foresee that Antifa will probably show up and try to cause violence. Do not come ready to do violence in defense of my free speech rights. We just paid so that Berkeley will do it, right? Either Berkeley is going to protect my free speech rights or they're not. Now we get to see as a nation whether Berkeley is going to keep its word to protect free speech even when Antifa shows up. And the last thing that I want is some bloody battle out in the streets with people who think they're protecting my free speech rights who aren't members of the government. The whole point here is that Berkeley and their administration have to do the job they've been pledging to do.
You know, I mean, we've seen what happened here in the past, and we're showing it again. I think one of the biggest concerns is whether or not the police will intercede. In some of these situations, we've seen them reluctant to get in the middle of it, I guess in part for fear of causing, you know, things to escalate even further. But you see the destruction that happens when they don't.
100%. 100%. I mean, we had the situation at Cal State Los Angeles, and we actually had to file a lawsuit against Cal State Los Angeles because we felt that the police had been told to stand down by the administration. So this, again, is going to be a test of the administration. It's going to be a test of the police. Are you going to fulfill your promise to protect free speech, or are you just going to sound off about it in the press and then allow Antifa and the far left to do whatever they want to shut down speech with which they disagree?
Yeah. Before I let you go, I want to get one thought from you on this issue of kindergartners being taught by their teachers about the transgender issue. And the parents, many of them for the Rockland Academy school, were outraged. They feel it's just too young to introduce these ideas to these children. But they really weren't asked whether or not that was okay before this happened.
It's despicable. It's despicable. I mean, the fact is that when you're teaching children about issues that are sensitive like gender identity, you would imagine that the parents should have some say in that. But there's been this newfangled attempt by the left to basically say we have to protect children from their own parents, that the parents are the real obstacle here. We know better than you do how to raise your own children. And we're going to teach them things that are absolutely contrary to science, like boys can become girls and girls can become boys. The idea that all of this is just genetically inbuilt, there's no evidence to suggest that all transgender activity, all gender identity orientation, all of that is genetically inbuilt and has no environmental impact at all. In fact, most kids who identify as gender confused when they're young grow out of it as they get older. And yet here you have a school that's basically saying to the parents, we're going to teach our false version of science to your children. And not just are we apparently they had a transgender party for one 5-year-old and taught the entire class about it at the same time. I mean, this is really despicable stuff. The idea is to protect the innocence of children, not to rip it away from them in the name of 5-year-olds making their own decisions about whether they're a boy or a girl.
When you're a kid, you know, you're learning about all of these ideas and growing up and turning into the person that you're going to become. And we have seen that in some of these cases, encouragement to have, you know, to go through the process of changing your sex at such a young age, this can only exacerbate those concerns among these families and for these kids as well. Ben, thank you. We'll be watching September 14th to see how it goes. Good luck to you. We'll see you soon.